Release the Kraken!
Good morning, everybody. This is Rom at Lame Duck Studios, and we are back with our elf. So in this one, we're going to go ahead and export our elf's jumping animations, and we're going to bring them into Unreal. You can see I have my jump set up, and this is the one that has every bit on there. So we have the jump start, we have the push off, him hovering in the air for a second, and then the landing. Make life easier, I'm going to go ahead and expand my timeline from 1, and then I'm going to go and scrub my timeline all the way up to the end of the push-off. So the last frame on the push-off should be frame 12. Go ahead and grab one of these joints here to see where the point is. You can see I have 1 to 12. So I'm going to come down to my timeline. Remember that we want to export at the length of the actual animation. So in here on my time slider, or my range slider, and type in 12. It's going to drop this all the way down to 12. So this is all that I have on here. So that's him jumping up. And then he's in his falling position. Going to select the root. I don't need to select any other piece. I'm going to go up to File, Export Selection. Let's go ahead and name this. Be consistent. What have I been naming it so far? We have SK Elf Dude. Make this first part be jump start. So jump start. Come down, we'll do our animation, make sure that's checked. We should have a bake animation from frame 1 to 12, which matches our timeline here. Export selection. Cool. Next part, I'm going to go ahead and go to the front end of my range slider. I'm going to type in 12, because that's the frame I'm starting on. I'll hit enter. I'm going to go over and expand my timeline. I believe it went from 12 to 72. I'm going to go to 80 just to make sure. Expand my range here. And you can see I have from 12 to 72 is this falling animation. Now my falling animation has a bit of is a continuous loop, right? So if I hit this at 72, hit enter, and play this, there's a bit of a hang at 72 where frame 72 and 12 are the same. So if I drop this to 71, let's see how that looks. I actually like the way it looks with the extra frames. I'm going to go back to 72. Expand that out. We're going to export this. So select the skeleton. File, Export Selection. Give my jump start. This is going to be the falling animation. So I'm going to call this fall. Go to the animation. Make sure that's ticked. Bake animation from frame 12 to 72. Export. I'm going to adjust my range slider to 72 in the beginning. And then the ending frame is 90 if I recall. Let's go ahead and drag out our slider. And we should have from 72 him hitting the ground. Select my skeleton, go up to File, Export Selection. You can name this landing or jump end, whichever you like. I'm going to call it jump end. Again, check animations, bake animations, and then from 72 to 90, or whatever your current range is, up to you. Go ahead and export. Jump over to Unreal. Go to my animation tab. I'll go ahead and import. Let's look for all the ALF bits. So I need the falling animation, the jump end, and the jump start. If you want to select multiple, just hold Control, and you can kind of click multiple. If you want to select a group, it's hold Shift. So select that one, the jump end, and start, and open. We do not need the mesh, so import mesh, that is unchecked. We do want to keep skeletal mesh, but we'll uncheck import mesh. And then we will set the skeleton to the bind pose for our elf. I'll hit import all. Okay, so here's this one. That one. And that one. Kind of like when you have like the ape growing into the man kind of deal. Simulate. Hey, they're all doing their job. That's cool. All right, let's set that up. Go to the character, go to the animation blueprint, and we will open up the animation blueprint. This one. We're going to go up here to our state machine. Right now we have our idle to walk. We'll go ahead and drag off from the border. Add a state. This is going to be jump, start. Open that up. Come over here, grab the jump start, plug it in. One important thing is to make sure we don't have this set to loop. So over here to the right, where it says looping animation, I'm going to uncheck that. Compile it. I'll go back to my state machine. We have a rule. So this rule is going to figure out when is it okay for us to initiate the jump. So if I click on that, we want to check if we're in the air. So let's go ahead and make a variable. New variable. We'll call this is in air. Grab that. Compile it. Now this variable is kind of empty, so we're going to have to make sure that we set this. Let's go back to the event graph. And then right off of our character, so grab the little blue dot here, so off of ALF, we're going to look for is falling. So is falling from character movement. It's going to bring in the character movement piece and the is falling node. And then this is going to update our variable. So I'm going to drag my variable in. I'm going to add it to my set right here. And plug it in. Okay, let's go back to the character. Character, open up the blueprint. Let's add in our jump key. I don't think we did that yet. Find an empty spot, press the C key, call this jump. Let's look for a jump button. So jump, looking for the input action event, jump. And then off of there we want the jump function. So jump, so you're under character functions, there's jump. And then stop jumping for the released. So stop jumping, compile. Let me get rid of these. Let's go to play. So if I hit the jump button, there he goes. Now he gets into the jump position, but he doesn't get out of it. So let's go set that up. Let's go back to the animation blueprint. Inside of there, go back to the state machine. From our jump start, we're going to go and do our falling animation. So we're going to go ahead and do a new state. We'll call this falling. Open it up. Grab that falling animation. Plug it in. This one will loop, so I'm going to leave this checked. Compile it. Let's go back to our state machine. We will add the rule. Open the rule up. So this rule is going to be whenever our jump animation is finished. So I'm going to go ahead and right click. I'm going to do a time remaining. And we're looking for time remaining ratio. So time remaining ratio. And it should tell you in parentheses here which animation is going to be linked. So the one that's going to be linked is going to be the jump start. So time remaining ratio, and this is going to be a floating point value. I'm going to say less than, so use the less than symbol. And I'll do less than or equal to. Now you can set a percentage in here. So if it's like less than 10% or whatever, so like a 0.1 is pretty common. Whatever's kind of close to there, and then if this is near the end of the frames, it's going to jump into here. So hit compile. Play. So if I jump, now I'm in my falling animation. It's time to do our landing. So state machine. From our falling animation, pull that off. You can call this jump end or landing, whichever. I'm going to call this landing. Inside of there, grab that jump end. This one will not loop, so I'll uncheck the loop button, compile it, state machine. The rule for this is whenever we're not touching, or whenever we're not in the air. So let's open up the rule. Go ahead and grab my isInAir variable, drag it in. I'll do a get. This time we're checking if this is not working, so I'm going to go ahead and drag off. I'm going to do a not, looking for not boolean. And then lastly, this is going to go right back into our idle. And the rule for this is whenever the landing is done. So I'm going to open it up. Grab our time remaining ratio. So time remaining ratio for our jump end. Same deal. Less than equal to. Go ahead and plug that in. And then however much you want. You can have it at 0. You can do it at 0.1. Whatever gets you closer to the end of the frame. And then if I jump, now you can see he can walk, sort of slide. And we can stop that. We can have it force him to not walk. But everything else looks like it's working. The physics is working. It can jump. The hair and the cloth work. Okay, we're going to go ahead and save this here, and I shall see you in the next one. Hey guys, thanks for checking out my channel. Misty and I both thank you. If you've enjoyed the video you just watched, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Also, if you have any comments or suggestions for future videos, make sure you leave them down in the comments. I upload new content every Sunday, and I release content every Wednesday. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, I do have a Patreon. Get content early. I also have official merch, Lame Duck Studio merch. It does exist. They do exist. So make sure you stick around for anything new, and I will see you next time.